Hello, I'm Nardo D&D. I have some feats today for the most commonly used weapons in Dungeons & Dragons ever. But before we get into them, come over here and have a little sidebar with me. As an abomination abhorrent to nature, being a beholder, I have this innate will to dominate this material plane, and you find that sympathetic, if you find that like a righteous cause to support, the best way you can do that is by liking, commenting, and sharing around this video. Also subscribe because it's free and cool. Oh, also, if you want neat access to prestige class videos that I make, you can become a member for 99 cents. That's it. Now let's talk about weapons and feat. The first feat we have is Longsword Mastery. Who hasn't seen a longsword? You get an ability score increase because I will never make a feat that does not have an ASI. You can increase your strength, dexterity, or constitution score by 1. But why your dexterity, you might ask? Longsword is not finesse. Well, we'll get to that soon enough. The first feature you get from this feat is Hand and a Half. The damage dice for longswords you wield is changed through 1d10, parentheses, 1d12 versatile. Longswords you wield gain the finesse property, so you can now use them with dexterity. How fun! And the Vex Weapon Mastery. So now they have Vex and Sap, which is a pretty neat combo. You can always use the weapon mastery of any longsword you wield. Very neat. They also gain Point and Edge, because it has a point and it has an edge, a longsword that is. Longswords you wield may inflict piercing or slashing damage. It just gives you more options. A lot of DMs might have already just let you do piercing damage with your longsword, if they're cool. In addition, you gain Sword of the Body. What's the Sword of the Body, everyone? It's the leg, obviously. Whenever you take the attack action while wielding a longsword, you may immediately, before making your first longsword attack, make a kick attack. This attack counts as a longsword attack for proficiency, weapon mastery, and weapon properties, but only inflicts damage equal to your ability modifier being used for the attack. So it essentially just gives you a little extra attack at the start of your turn to like close the distance, maybe make distance, put yourself in the right space to capitalize on swinging a longsword with a kick. Now, if you have a magic longsword, it won't apply any of its bonuses to the kick because it's your leg that's doing it, but it does count for the proficiency of a longsword. So if you're proficient in longsword, you're proficient in this kick attack. How fun. Very cool. That's the Longsword Mastery. I think it's pretty neat. I would use it. I am using this in a little one-shot that I will be playing sometime, but you guys will never see that because it's not recorded. That one's just for fun, because I play this game for fun as well, because it's a fun game, you know? Let's go to the next one. Battleaxe Mastery. You get an ability score increase of Strength or Constitution. The Battleaxe abilities, obviously. Strength and Constitution. You gain the feature Disarming Assault when you inflict damage with a Battleaxe. Damage from graze does not count for this. Keep that in mind. You may choose to inflict half as much damage and remove one item being held by the target you struck. So that's pretty neat. So you deal half damage and you just take something off of their hands. Very funny. Very good against a Merilith with all those swords. That's funny. If you have a free hand, so if you're just one-handing the battle axe, if you have a free hand, you may grab the disarmed object with it. Otherwise, you may fling the object to any point within 20 feet of you. So you can fling the thing away. If you fling the object to another creature, you may apply the same hit roll and damage you inflicted towards the initial target of the attack. The damage type may change based on what you are flinging. So like if you're flinging a flask of alchemist's fire that they're holding, that might do fire damage, you know, that kind of thing. So that is pretty neat. It's up to your DM's discretion what damage type it does, because it'll be different based on what you're flinging. But it's a very funny, like, you fling it away in a funny manner. Very neat. Then you also gain Sweeping Strikes. Battle axes you wield gain the Cleave Weapon Mastery. You can always use the weapon mastery of any battle axes you wield. You can cleave around, you can hit multiple guys. That's good for disarming lots of dudes. Very funny. You also gain Bypass Shield. I spelled it in a weird way. I put spaces maybe where they shouldn't be, but it could just be the name of a feature, so they're goofy sometimes. Attacks made by you utilizing a battle axe ignore the bonus AC from any shields, because that's kind of what axes are for. They're for like tearing away the shield. They're for getting around that funny defensive measure that people implement. This is good. This is what they're for. It's cool. It's neat. They got the hook part. It's good for them. So that's Battleaxe Mastery. I think it's pretty neat. I like it. Next is Rapier Mastery, which kind of works against itself depending on what class you are. So as a fighter, this works fantastic. As a rogue, you have to work a little harder to make this work. Ability score increase, strength, dexterity, constitution, whatever you want for Rapier. You gain Main Gauche. which if you're French or if you're into fencing, you'll know it's like the little offhand dagger. That's what it's called. While wielding a rapier in one hand and a dagger in the other hand, the dagger provides you with +2 AC. So the dagger acts as a shield, essentially. You also gain practice technique. Rapier you wield gain the light property, which is pretty neat, and the graze weapon mastery. So you always like deal a little bit. You can always use the weapon mastery of any rapier you wield. So what giving the rapier the light property would do is if you're holding a dagger in your offhand, or if you're just holding 2 rapiers, you can then offhand stab with the other rapier. So that's pretty neat. That's the benefit to that. Then you can gain successive piercing. The second attack you make with a rapier on your turn is applied twice, meaning that when you roll to hit for the second attack, apply that hit roll 2 times and inflict the damage 2 times if the hit roll connects. So this is where the rogue fighter conundrum, like what is this better on? With fighter at level 5, you can just stab twice and you're always getting the benefit of this. And you can also have a dagger in your offhand to gain the shield AC bonus. So that is just good fighting times as a fighter. However, the rogue, if you have 2 rapiers, you can do the first stab with the rapier and the second stab with your offhand rapier because they're both light. You will gain the benefit of the double impact on the second thing. So that's when you apply your sneak attack damage, because you can apply your sneak attack damage once per turn. So you just choose to apply it on the second attack so that when it inflicts the damage 2 times, it inflicts your sneak attack damage 2 times, but you won't be gaining the benefit of the dagger unless you can find a way to gain 2 main hand attacks as a rogue. Maybe you do a little multi-classing, maybe you figure out some other thing. Maybe you have like haste, for example. You have someone cast haste on your rogue that has a rapier and a dagger, and this is just like a sometimes thing, you know? So there's a lot of like ways to build around that thing, and you guys can figure it out. And as always, fighter is always the best at it because it's weapons and fighters are good at weapons. Let's go to the next one. Scimitar Mastery, which I have heard as being pronounced Scimitar, and oh boy did I laugh at that person. You have an ability score increase of Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, all the Scimitar Mastery related ones. You gain Whirling Dervish, which is a fun set of words. While wielding at least 2 scimitars, any attack with a scimitar that inflicts damage also inflicts your attacking ability score of slashing damage to all creatures within your reach besides your initial target. So when you hit someone with the scimitar, you're hitting everyone else around you because you're spinning around. You're a mess of blades, just like a Beyblade or a top. You also gain Inescapable. Scimitars you wield gain the Slow Weapon Mastery. You can always use the Weapon Mastery of any scimitar you wield. So that's pretty neat. That's good. So you're like really wanging them good. You also gain 2 hands. While wielding at least 2 scimitars, each attack made with a scimitar grants you an attack from the light property of your offhand scimitar. These attacks cannot generate further attacks. All attacks generated from this can be made as part of the same attack action due to the Nick Weapon Mastery. That might not have needed to be included, but I did include it just in case because it's implied based on the ruling of the words. However, I wanted to make it very obvious and explicit that that's how it worked. You may add your appropriate ability modifier to damage rolls for all offhand attacks utilizing scimitars. So the benefit to this is, let's say you're a fighter, a 5th level fighter, and you got 2 scimitars, 1 in each hand. You attack twice with your main hand scimitar. Normally, that would only generate 1 offhand attack because of the light property and the Nick Weapon Mastery that you can do as part of the same action. But because you attack twice, each one of those gives you an offhand attack. So you get 2 offhand attacks in total for a total of 4 cool attacks when you're holding 2 scimitars. It's pretty neat. It basically makes it so that each attack generates an attack. Very neat. I like scimitars. They're cool. Have you guys read R.A. Salvatore? What a funny guy that guy is. Let's go to the next one. Longbow Mastery. Everyone has a longbow just in their back pocket, surely. Ability score, increase strength, constitution, dexterity. But oh, Naruto D&D, why does it have strength on the longbow? That makes no sense. Well, we're getting to that. You're really jumping the gun on these. Like it's gonna be explained. Compound strength. You may add your strength modifier to damage rolls for longbows you wield. This is in addition to any other modifiers you may normally add. So you can finally play the hyper jacked English longbowman that just really pulls that bow all the way back and just has such an altered physique in his shoulders because of it. Very funny. You also gain called shots, which I think is really fun because like you get to like aim at different parts with the arrow and cause different effects. So what called shots does is you may apply the effect of the slow, sap, topple, or push weapon mastery to attacks you make using longbow. So it's like you're always doing something funny with your arrow. You're always making a decision when you shoot someone, which is pretty cool. It gives the nice agency to the man with the longbow so that they can have some fun effect on the battlefield instead of just shooting a man and applying DPS to target, you know? It changes them from a right clicker to having some abilities. It's very fun. And you also gain prepared position. When you start your turn in the same spot you started your last turn in, you gain advantage on your first attack with a longbow that turn. So if you're just set up for a while, if you didn't move for a turn, or if you didn't move last turn and you shoot and then move, that's also fine. So it's pretty goofy. Prepare positions. Gives you advantage sometimes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I really like called shots. That's my favorite part. And the compound strength I like for roleplay reasons because it makes the range guy really buff, which is funny. And lastly, we have Shield Mastery. Who has not have a shield? Increase any ability score you want by 1. Whichever one you want. It's a shield, you know? Whatever. The best defense is a good offense. Everyone knows that one. That's like a bit. That's like people say that. Shields you wield become weapons in addition to being shields. Shields you wield gain the Throne 2060 property and the Topple Weapon Mastery. Just kind of fun, you know? Throw it, knock someone over, and then go beat them with your versatile weapon. Shields you wield are melee weapons that deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage. You can always use the weapon mastery of any shield you wield as a treat. You gain Bashing. Whenever you take the attack action, you may, as part of the same action, make one attack with a shield you are wielding in addition to any other attacks you would make with your attack action. So you always get to bash him with the shield. So that's just fun. It's like, it essentially gives it like the light proper and all those things with Nick and stuff with less words and less things to worry about. You always get one conk with the shield and you get them good. You also gain Portable Cover, which is really nice. And I wish more things would involve the cover system in D&D because it's a good system. It's just not used that often, I feel. While you are wielding a shield, you may, as a reaction, grant half cover to yourself until the start of your next turn. And what half cover does, this isn't on the screen, but it gives you +2 to your AC and it gives you an extra bonus on your dexterity saving throws, which is very fun and neat, and I like that a lot. And that's all I have for today. That's the last feat I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been great. I'm getting a lot of attention recently in the last few videos. I really appreciate all of you. And if you want to show some appreciation, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. It would mean the world to me. I go to the comments and I read through all of them, every single one. I like to respond to all of them. I like doing a little dance every time I respond, so you can imagine me doing that every time you see me typing away. Every time you see a response, you can think that I was doing a little dance while I was doing it. And it's really weird seeing a beholder dance because it's mostly all eye stalks flapping around, so it's pretty goofy. It's a big spin kind of move, so there's that to it. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, you can subscribe. There's loads of videos on the channel. Go check out the playlists that are linked at the end of this video. It's very cool, very good stuff. Hit that like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And if you want it to cost you a thing, you can pay 99 cents to become a member as a treat. There's cool prestige class videos that are members only. And I put your name at the end of the thing as a little like thank you thing. So you can see that and see all the members that are already there. It's very fun. All right, that's it. All I have for you today. Goodbye. You guys have been great. I love you all.